Today I have 10 tips of how I paid out $65,000 in 16 months. So again, my name is Jessica. Welcome to my channel where I talk about lifestyle, hair, and also just any spiritual things that the Lord has laid on my heart to talk about. So sometimes I do Bible studies, and sometimes I just take you along with me with different adventures that I will be doing throughout my life. But due to COVID, I haven't been able to do a lot of things out in my community, but I believe the last time I uploaded a video was when I went skydiving for my 30th birthday. So that was so much fun. So hopefully I can do some more fun things like that and I can share that with you guys. But today we are focusing on how I became debt free. So just a little bit of background about my story. I am a single mother with a 6-year-old baby girl, and each and every year, it will be around the same time each year where I found myself kind of in the same hole where I wouldn't have enough money to do certain things that I want to do for her and myself. Like either I would have to pay off credit cards, or I would be kind of scrambling for money or waiting for the next paycheck. So I just made a decision that I really wanted a better life for my daughter. So I went to school and got my master's degree, and I got my master's degree in clinical social work. I should know my own master's degree. I'm about to say psychology. I'm in clinical social work, so I am a social worker, but I have multiple positions where I am a supervisor as well as I am a clinical trauma-based therapist. So I do that. So I went to grad school and got my master's degree, and then that's what started my journey of really increasing my income and really being intentional about my finances for me and my daughter. So I started researching about just how to be a steward over my finances and praying to God about what I needed to do to be a steward of my finances for one, and stop. Every year I used to be in the same predicament every year. Probably like I think around Christmas time I would be scrambling for money about how I was going to buy different things for my daughter. Granted I was never really struggling. It was just that I was tired of using my credit cards for things that I really wanted. So I stumbled upon this guy called Dave Ramsey, and I'm not sure if you heard about Dave Ramsey, but I will put the link in the description box below. But Dave Ramsey teaches about being debt free and about cutting up your credit cards and being intentional about what you do with your money and knowing where every dollar is going. So I stumbled upon Dave Ramsey. I started watching his YouTube videos. I started reading his book called The Money Makeover, and I don't have my book with me today, but I will leave a picture somewhere in this video just to tell you what book that I read. I gave it to someone to borrow to read, so I will share that with you guys of what book I read that really kind of got me pushing in the right direction. So 10 tips about how I will go a little bit more about Dave Ramsey, but 10 tips of how I was able to become debt free in 16 months being a single mother. So the first one is how I became debt free was I had to change my mindset. So I had to change how the way I thought about money, what I did with my money. So the Bible says in Romans 12 and 2, it says, I love the new Living Translation version. It says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. So I had to change the way I thought about money. I had to be a steward over my finances, which means that I had to be cautious of what I spent my money on. Like not spending my money on material things, not spending my money on things that's just so unnecessary to spend my money on. I had to be really intentional in changing the way I thought about money, and also be intentional about spending more and more time with God. Also, the Bible says in Matthew 6:33 that if you seek God first, the kingdom of heaven, all these things shall be added unto you. So when you seek God first and put God first, everything that you desire, that's in God's will be added unto you. So these material things that I wanted eventually will come if I put God first. That's the will and the purpose that God has for me. That's the things that God wanted for me. Like, certain cars or a house or even a husband. Like, if I put God first, like all these things, that these material things or things in general will be added, like as sprinkles, like on the cake. Like, as long as our foundation is right, as long as God is first, like, why would God withhold anything good from us? Like, why won't God want us to have a big house? Why won't God want us to have, a nice car? But our mindset has to shift to be God focused rather than worldly things. Our mind has to be kingdom minded rather than worldly things. So once you align your ways with the Lord, He will give you the heart's desire if that's His will for you to have those things. So let's not get caught up on material things, like, praying for this and that. That's good to pray for. That's good to speak it into existence. But our main priority has to be kingdom minded. So the second tip was develop a plan and outline of my goals. So how I developed my plan was I watched Dave Ramsey's YouTube videos as well as his podcast, like every single day. Like, it was like to the point where it was like reading my Bible and watching Dave Ramsey YouTube videos. I was in the shower listening to him. I was driving my car to work. I would listen to his podcast. When I was, on my free time, I would listen to his podcast. Like, so I would really try my best to understand his method of becoming debt free. It was something that it was important to me. So besides changing your mind, you have to develop a plan and also have goals. So my goal was initially my goal was to become debt free in 2 years. But I knew that I wanted to start saving for a house. I wanted to buy a house before I turned 33. Like, those are a goal of mine. And so I had created some goals. And some of Dave Ramsey's action steps were to, first was to become current of all your finances. So say that you had a credit card and you needed to become current with that credit card. So with all your bills. So you want to make sure you're current on all your bills and making sure that, you're not behind on any bills. So that was the first thing. I never have really been behind on any of my bills. I was always intentional about paying my bills on time. So I had a little credit card debt, but not nothing too serious, like not nothing more than $1,000. But that was mainly because of the bills that I put on my credit card each month. So I paid it off each month. So I became current with all of my bills. Like I said before, I never was not current with my bills. I always was a person who was very intentional, very responsible with my bills. So there are baby steps to Dave Ramsey, and that's a whole nother video, but I will put the baby steps in the link below about his baby steps. But the first baby step is, I'm not gonna go into much detail about it because this would be a long video, but the baby steps are, first, you want to become current and save $1,000 in your savings. So the reason why he wants you to save $1,000 is because it makes you be intentional and get intense about getting out of debt, because knowing in your mind, like, oh yeah, I only got $1,000 in my bank account, I need to hurry up and get debt free. So what I did was save $1,000, which I had already had before, $1,000 in my bank account, and then I did the debt snowball, where you put your smallest debt to your highest debt. So first you paying off your smallest debt first, and then you're using that money that paid off your smallest debt to keep going to your other debts. Like, so kind of like a debt snowball, where you would pay off the smallest debt to the largest debt. So each debt that you paid off, you'll use that money that you kept paying off each month with the smallest debt, it will go on to the next debt. And so I would use that that method that Dave Ramsey was telling me to do. And so I did that as well. So I developed a plan about how I was going to pay pay off my debt. So the first thing, like I said, was change your mindset, and the second one was develop a plan and the outline of how you want to be debt free. Like, what's the steps for you to be debt free? And so my step was to do the debt snowball, what Dave Ramsey was talking about, and be really intense about it. The third one was to set a budget and reduce monthly expenses. So the third tip I have for you is to set a budget. So each month, Dave Ramsey saying that you should know where your money is going down to the penny. So beforehand, I didn't know where my money was going. Like, at the end of the month, I'd be like, dang, what I just bought? Like, I know I bought some clothes and some shoes, and I know I paid this bill and that bill, but I really didn't know where my money was going. So you have to develop a budget. I don't care how rich you are, or if you don't have a lot of money, you have to have a budget. You have to know where your money is going. You have to. So it's an app called Every Dollar that Dave Ramsey created, and every dollar, it teaches you, it shows you where your money is going down to every single dollar that you have. So each month I would kind of calculate how much I would get paid that month, because my salary kind of goes up and down depending on how many clients I see. I have a base salary, but also I see clients on the side. So I have a base salary, but I can always receive more money that month based off the clients that I see on top of my base salary. So with that, I just told myself, like, each month, each time I got paid, I put it in the system in this app, and I put every dollar that what I wanted to spend that month. I had put a budget out with that. So, and also I looked at my monthly expenses and seen some things that I can reduce. So I cut off cable. Yep, I cut off cable. I cut out going out to eat a lot. I was very intentional with saying no to family, and I will go into that. Also as well, I didn't shop probably for a whole year for myself. I shopped for my daughter, but not myself. So those are some things that I cut some monthly expenses on as well. Number 4 is be consistent and develop the word no to yourself and others. So that's important, being consistent and developing the word no. There were so many times when my friends and family wanted to go out to eat, and I had to say no because it wasn't in my budget for that month. I had already set my budget for a certain amount of going out to eat, or a certain amount of spending this money in certain areas where I had to say no. And Dave Ramsey don't want you to go out at all, but there's no way I could have done that. So I set aside, I think, about $20 to $30 per month for me to go out to eat. So say that I'm at $30 limit. I didn't go over that. I didn't use my cards. I didn't, change. I didn't move shifts, other money and my going out to eat budget. I didn't. I just said no. So sometimes you have to tell yourself no and tell your family and friends no, you can't do it. Also, I didn't travel, but I think also COVID helped me out a lot because a lot of people wasn't traveling anyways. So that really helped me out a lot, but I wasn't traveling. I said no to people. So developing the word no will help you stay focused and help you stay consistent, and just allowing, sometimes you have to allow your friends and family know what you're doing. Like, I'm trying to become debt free, so I have to say no this time. Maybe next month I can go out. So a lot of times my friends and family had to tell me ahead of time, because if it's not in my budget, I wasn't going to go. So they had to tell me ahead of time so I could put it in my budget for that month. So developing the word no. Number 5, get a side hustle and increase your income. So I'm not going to state my income on this video because I have, I believe some of my colleagues and some of my own staff may watch this video, but I had to increase my income. So in order for me to become debt free in 16 months, paying $65K plus off in 16 months, I had to increase my income. So at one point I was working 3 jobs. At one point I was, and I'm not gonna lie. But COVID messed up. I used to work at Planet Fitness third shift. Some people probably see me in third shift, and it was very humbling for me because I knew I had a master's degree. I used to play basketball for a D1 school, so having me work at Planet Fitness, with nothing against Planet Fitness, like whoever works there, it's nothing against that, but I had a higher standard. Like I knew where I wanted to be. So sometimes like that really humbled me. So sometimes when you get out of that, it will humble you. It will make you like I said, changing your mindset. Like, don't worry about what people think, because at the end of the day, the process, it will lead to the promise that God wants for you. So you can't worry about what people may think about you. So yes, I worked 3 jobs at one point. I was going in, and then COVID shut that down. Like I think the 3rd month, it was in March when COVID came, Planet Fitness let me go. So, but which was a blessing in disguise, because I was like, Lord, like, you know, working this 3rd shift and this, you know, this other job helped me double my income. So what can I do now? So the Lord provided me ideas of how to double my income within my current position. So I started to contract outside of the current position that I had. So I started to see clients outside of that. So on weekends, I started to, you know, do assessments called TICAs, which is like a trauma-based assessment where, you know, you get extra money to do that. So I started to create a caseload outside of my main job on weekends or after hours to see clients that really, it tripled my income. So I was making a lot more money than I was doing at Planet Fitness. And so I ended up transitioning to one job. Well, it was, I guess, 2 jobs. So now I still work those 2 jobs, but it's in my field. I love what I do. So having multiple incomes, like multiple streams of incomes, is so important. You never want one stream of income anyways, because something may happen to that job. You want multiple streams of income. So get a side hustle. Think of something that you already can do in your field, which is ideal to do to earn more money. So that's what I done. Like, I developed ways to earn more money in my field that was ethical, that was legal, and that's something that I can do that I really enjoyed already. So I ended up doubling my income, and also I got promoted so as well at my job, so which helped out a lot with my income as well. So number 6 was number 5, like I said, was get a side hustle and increase your income. So if I didn't increase my income, I would have still been trucking along with my debt. It would have probably took me 2 years, but because I increased my income, because I brainstormed ways to increase my income and develop that side hustle, I was able to pay off my debt in 16 months. Number 6 is continuously review your goals daily, weekly, and monthly. There was like, I used to look at the Every Dollar app probably like 10 to 20 times a day. Like, I would look at that app, I would think about it all the time, I would pray about it, I would review my goals throughout the week, I would make sure that I am on track with the amount I was paying off each month. I think I was paying off at least close to I was paying $4,000, up to $4,000 plus on my debt per month. That's a lot of money. So it took a lot for me to have all this money and just giving it, basically paying off my debt with it. I was really never able to enjoy it, really. So that was the hardest thing for me, was just, I feel like I was giving money away, basically $4,000 per month away each time. So that was very difficult for me to do, but I knew that it wouldn't last always. I knew that at one point I would be able to enjoy the money and the hard work that I was doing. So the one is review your goals, because sometimes you can get kind of like discouraged. You can, you know, and I also got off of social media because I didn't want to compare my life to others. I didn't want to say like, oh, so-and-so got a new car, or so-and-so got this. And you know, I knew I had the money to get those things, to get Louis Vuittons, to get, you know, things that I wanted, to go to, you know, to go overseas, you know, on trips and things like that. But I knew I had goals. And so a lot of times, like, people, I had to accomplish my goals silently. Like, you don't have to tell everybody what you're doing. So that was difficult for me. So really reviewing your goals and really staying focused on what you want to do. Number 7 is develop a routine, a workout routine, anything, a routine that you have to do, like to be consistent. Like this journey has helped me to be consistent, developing a routine. So like you want to make sure that you're level-headed, like you're not doing anything out of the ordinary. Like for me, I started working out, I started spending more time with God, I was intentional with spending time with my daughter. I will be really focused. So you want to develop a routine each month as well. Number 8 is accountability partner. So you want to have somebody to hold you accountable. My accountability partner was my best friend, but it was really my mom. A lot of times my mom would tell me, is that necessary to buy, Jessica? Or I thought you was trying to get out of debt. And so that really helped me out a lot, to have somebody to hold me accountable and to tell her how much more I had left or how much I paid off this month. It was very encouraging for my mom to really encourage me to not spend above my means, or to not go out to eat, or to really encourage me that, keep me on track, telling me like, is that necessary to buy that? Or I thought you was trying to get out of debt, or, so it's good to have somebody to really hold you accountable. Number 9 is focus on you. So I focused on myself and I got off social media. I did say that earlier, but really it's very important to focus, to keep your eyes in your lane. Like, don't be looking over what so-and-so is doing, because they're broke. Dave Ramsey always said, do not take advice from broke people. So when people gave me advice talking about, I can still go on vacations, like, don't take advice from people who's in debt. Like, so I was blocking everybody out and taking advice from only Dave Ramsey. Like, I was very intentional with my budgeting. I had a goal. I was focused on myself, so I got off social media for a year, and I was really being intentional about what I wanted to do. So because when you set your mind to something, you can't allow people what they may do to make you change your mind, to make you get off what you really want to do. Like, you gotta stay focused. And number 10, the last one, which is very important, is stay humble. Stay humble. Like, for me, I could have boasted so much. I could have bought this, I could have bought that. Like I said, I was paying more than $4,000 per month towards my debt. Like, stay humble. Because when you get out of debt, you're going to have to continue to stay humble, because you're going to have all this money. Like, what you going to do with all this money now? So, but you have to stay humble. You can't allow people to kind of shape your mind or change or they're going to give you their opinion all day. But you have to stay focused. You have to stay humble and do what you want to do. Do what the Lord has called you to do. So I'm a Christian, and I believe in following the leading of the Holy Spirit. And so you have to stay humble. You have to stay grounded. And what you truly set yourself to do, whatever goals that you have set for yourself. And so those are my 10 tips that I have of how I became debt free. I will do a video later on about just going in detail about, my debt. If you want me to, just say that you want more detail about it. If you want to meet with me or have a conversation with me through video or by phone, just let me know. I will work with you individually about how, just in detail about how I became debt free, more and more in detail, and help you on your journey of becoming debt free. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take saying no, not going out to eat all the time. You're going to have to be intentional. You're going to have to set a budget. I knew that I had to pay at least $4,000 plus per month in order to become debt free in 16 months or less than a year. I knew I had to pay this much, so I had a set standard of how much money I needed to pay each month. Anything after that, I paid my bills. I paid tithes. That's important too, is paying your tithes. Giving 10% to God. So so I made sure that I forgot to mention that changing your mindset also means that if you haven't been tithing, if you haven't been given to God, then you want to make sure you do that first. So I meant to mention that. Sorry, forgive me, God. But I meant to mention that, like, I was always consistent with paying tithes anyways, but for those who aren't consistent with paying tithes, it's very important to first to continue to pay your tithes even when you're getting out of debt. So that's something that I still continued while getting out of debt. But like I said before, I had a set amount that I needed to pay per month of my debt each month, on top of paying my tithes, on top of paying my bills. So I decreased my monthly expenses. I continued to tithe, and I had a set amount of money that I wanted to pay on my bills wanted to pay on my debt per month. So those are the tips that I have. Number one is changing your mindset. Tithe, right? Give the guy his 10%, whatever, or 10% or more, whatever that you believe, but still, God gave you the opportunity to work. The least you can do is give what's already due to Him. So number one is changing your mindset. Number two is develop a plan and outline of your goals. The Dave Ramsey, I will leave a link in the description box below about Dave Ramsey. Number three is set a budget and reduce monthly expenses. Number four, be consistent and develop the word no to yourself and others. Number five is get a side hustle. Got to. Increase your income. Got to. Number six, review your goals daily, weekly, and monthly. You gotta stay on top of it. You gotta stay consistent. You gotta stay motivated. Number four, develop a routine. Work out, read. Don't go out of your routine no matter what nobody say. Stay focused. Develop a routine. Number eight, accountability partner. You may not need one, but it's always good to have somebody to hold you accountable. Number nine, focus on yourself. Get off social media if you have to. Focus on you. Stay in your own lane. What is your why? Find out what is your why. My why was my daughter. My why was not being in the financial state that I was year after year. My thing was being debt free. Like, I didn't care about a new car. I didn't care about people buying houses. I had to focus on me, because eventually those things will come. Like, as a matter of fact, I have a Honda. So I'm probably not gonna get a new car until I need one. Like, I don't care. Like, I can make six figures and still drive a Honda. Like, material things don't matter to me. So focus on you. Don't be worrying about what everybody else is doing. And number 10, stay humble. Like I said, I was driving a Honda making six figures. So stay humble, stay humble. So those are my 10 tips. Thank you for watching my video. Like I said before, if you have any questions, please put your comments below. If you would like for me to work with you personally, just reach out to me. I will respond back as soon as possible about how I can meet with you virtually, because due to COVID, or by phone. Just let me know. Just thank you for watching my video, and subscribe to my channel. There will be more videos to come. I took a break because with this debt thing, I had to stay focused. I couldn't do so many things at once. So forgive me for not putting this video up for like 6 months. I don't know. It's been a long time since I put a video up on my channel. But I love you. Your girl is blessed today. Thank you for watching, and bye. Love you.